Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how to make a gibbering mouther slash Shoggoth. Now one of the key influence for this piece was international politics. Nah, just kidding, the real inspiration for this piece was Ian Miller. Check out the couple of links I added in the description below so you can know what I'm talking about. Also check out 28 Mag as this is a competition entry for this fantastic magazine. Also a link in the description below, go check it out. Now, as I don't play Dungeons & Dragons, I'd like to hear from you people what you would like to see next in this monster series. So please leave a comment in the section below, like, subscribe, you know what to do. And I'll see you soon for a new project here on Dark Matter Workshop. Welcome to the workshop. So for this project I started by melting a couple sheets of plastic, and I let the shape that I acquired by melting the plastic determine how I was going to make this monster. You could see at the top a hole was formed, which is a great place to start with an eye, and then I had a couple of gaps in the plastic which were perfect places to make a couple of mouths. So instead of working from a design, I started by working from a material. And I cut a base out of 1mm plastic card with a pair of scissors, and I glued it on with some hot glue. And for the eyes I used marbles. Just attach these with a little bit of hot glue. And then I started building up the mouth. Again with the hot glue you can see some of these techniques as they are featured in a previous video. You can see several techniques actually that I've used in other projects come back again in this one. I experimented a little bit by trying to draw the hot glue to make some teeth. This only worked half of the time. And then it was time to build up the shape by adding a couple of extra pieces of plastic. The teeth for the mouth are, as you can see, just pieces of toothpick. And for the other mouth I used a piece of baking paper to lay down some lines of hot glue, with which I'm going to make some teeth. Attach these with a drop of hot glue. And for some of the detailing I used moisture absorbing beads, which I attached with some super glue. And then again I started by building up the shape by adding pieces of plastic till I was happy with the results. The metal wires are simply pushed through the plastic and attached with some hot glue so they wouldn't move when I added the texture. And then it's time for painting. So I blasted the entire model black with spray primer, and then I gave it a Sennelier highlight with a gray. This to bring out the shadows, as I'm going to be using some ink. This is a red ink by Sennelier or Sennelier. I gave the entire model a couple of coats, gently building up the red until I was happy with the results. Some parts of the model were painted black to give it a bit of contrast, especially the ends of the model and the part at the back. It's time to lay down some more base coats. I used buff for the teeth, and then a light flash dry brush on all the red parts of the model, and I used dead flash on all the black parts of the model. Dead flash has a little bit of green in it, and since red and green are complementary colors, when done correctly of course, we don't want to paint it a Christmas tree. And this is the result. After the dry brushing, time to lay down a bunch of inks. Start by making an ink of Carmine Red and some wash mix. You can find the wash mix recipe in the description below. Then a second wash where I mixed some red and black. I laid this down in the shadows, or the deeper recesses of the model where the shadows are supposed to be. Again, to give it a bit more depth, I added a bit of green wash to all the parts that I dry brushed with dead flesh, and then finally a bit of sepia to add a bit of yellow to make it a little bit more richer in color palette. And then the Tamiya clear red, also in the shadow areas of the model and around the mouth, to give it a bit more a vibrant deep red color. And then I also coated the wires with the clear red, because I'm going to be adding special effects later. Here you can see the model in an already slightly advanced stage, but that's okay, we will get there. The moisture absorbing beads were first base coated with ochre yellow, and then given a sepia wash. And I started working on the eyes. I started with a light sea gray base coat applied with a regular brush. And then with the airbrush I applied some US light gray. I don't cover anything of the model when spraying. I don't care about the overspray. It's going to add a little bit more color, and we can always paint over what we have sprayed too much. Then I painted in a pupil with some ivory. And then again with a bunch of washes I started with Reikland Flesh 8 at the back of the eye. Then I made a mixture of the flesh shade and the wash mix, with which I covered the entire eye. And then with a damp brush I removed the excess from the pupil. And then with blue wash to deepen the shadows. And I also applied some blue wash all over the model in the deepest recesses to once again add a bit of color to the color palette. Then I made some veins with the blue wash. It's important to gently build this up. Don't use too much wash on your brush. Just gently scribble on some lines. And then with a bit of more blue wash I build up the veins and the shadows. And after a thorough drying, I applied some more Reikland Flesh shade to the blue that I already added to the eye. And again I covered the entire eye with the flesh shade, and again with a damp brush I removed the excess till I was happy with the result, and then I allowed it to dry completely. I didn't want the base to distract too much from the model, so I simply coated it with PVA glue and covered it with Scrubland by Lukes APS. Fantastic product. You can check out the review I did in my video list. Then I applied a layer of gloss varnish to the eyes to blend in the colors and bring out the sheen. And for the special effects I used Uhu glue and then clear red by Tamiya, about 50 to 50% ratio. Give it a thorough mix, and then after a while you will see that it starts to become thready, and then I simply applied it to the model and with a toothpick I pulled the glue mixture to the appropriate places. It's not that easy to work with, but with a little bit of effort you can make it look really cool. Now I have to say, since it is a special effect, just look at the movies, they don't age very well. It's enough to just look at the glue to make it break, but that's okay, as it just looks really cool, and that's all that matters in this case. And that's it for this project. I want to thank you all very much for watching. Please like, please subscribe, you know what to do. I'll see you soon for our next project on Dark Matter Workshop. Bye.